inflation in a Kumar, and that's true that the prices, and you can guess, I think you can guess it, that the prices went up since then.
Okay.
Because of the inflation. So like $1.87 million at this time does not worth the same thing now.
Okay.
Because of the inflation. So
okay.
well, we were thinking like let's do it again. We were thinking more so of a price of $6 million for a year.
Okay.
So it means that well, we are up to discussion, but that's what we would like to.
That's your target.
That's what we aspire for.
I think that's a little high for us. I think
and this includes also the council for the restaurant chain and as we said.
Okay.
So it's also we provide an additional service.
Right. So. I think that's a little high for us. The alternatives that we have are lower than that.
Like what are your alternatives? How low are your alternatives?
I'm not ready to disclose that information right now, but it is lower. It's between 6 and 1. I'll tell you that. But now, as far as going back to where you are in your profitability, if it's something that, like, how close are you to kind of how much do you need this deal in order to not go bankrupt?
Well, I think this deal is not really. It won't really influence our bankruptcy or not bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
It's more. But it will of course influence our growth.
Right.
But I think like we are not like chokehold by the.
You're not. Okay. All right. That's different than kind of what I was told. So that's. Okay. I mean, that's good for you. That's great.
So and that's true. I think it's a better relationship also if we do business, that we are not like dependent one of the other.
Right.
So like we really want to do this deal. That's true.
Okay.
Like, I think we really enjoy. Well, it was good. It was a good business to do business with PepsiCo. So we are willing to do it again. But we are not threatened as much threatened by bankruptcy.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's good to know because I was not aware.
So like if 6 million is it's too much for you, like what would be like your. So how could this deal be better for you?
So what if we did, for the first 6 months, if we did 1 million, and then for the second 6 months, we did 1 million plus 1 million times whatever market share you captured. So you could potentially make up to 3 million.
Well, it's really lower than what we thought. Like I think in 1 million, it's really too low to start. I like the fact.
Because it's not 1 million. It's just that's just for 6 months.
Right.
So the potential could be up to 3 million.
I like the fact that there is a part that can be variable.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea, and we should probably work on it together and see how it could be better. But I think 1 million is really too low compared like we really imagine for 6 million. We are willing to do efforts and to lower our price. But 1 million, it's definitely too low.
Okay.
So
well, it's not 1 million though. It's at least 2 million.
So let's speak on a yearly basis.
Yearly basis. Okay,
so it would be 2 million.
Yeah.
Plus a variable part.
Right.
Well.
We have to go in like 2 minutes.
Oh. So should we reach an agreement?
I don't know. It said we don't have to actually agree.
We don't have to.
Right. Okay. Well, what are your alternatives?
Well, our alternatives, to continue doing business as usual. Like we have several clients, and we are really busy. We could also really be busy by this fact of buying Giant Juice.
Right. So would you need, in order to kind of meet your sales growth figures, do you need us? Do you need this deal?
It would be nice, to have it.
Okay.
I don't know if we would need it, but it would be nice, and also to prove the banks that we have a good deal flow and a good new clients. So that would I won't hide you. It would be good for us.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm willing to say. So let's say that. Our really the last
agreement.
The last figure we could say.
Okay.
For a 1 year basis, and then we could talk about how we could split it in the first 6 months and then 6 months. But let's say that in the whole, for the 1 year basis, we were thinking about maybe well, really our last price it will be 3 million for the hosting, and maybe with an additional variable part.
Okay.
So if we could talk about.
Yeah.
But for the details of the deal, let's maybe do it later.
Sure, I can. We can work around that figure. Yeah.
Okay.
Could you? Let's see. Let me just look at my notes quickly. You said, what did you say? 3?
Right.
How about 2.8?
Okay, but then so let's work on a 1. So
yeah, 2.8 for 1 year.
And no 6 months.
That would include all the incentives, though. We can't go over 2.8.
Okay, so let's say it's a deal.
Okay.
But so then it's a 1 year. It's a 1 year contract and not a 6 months.
Well, I would say our limit would be 2.8, including any incentives. But I would still like to work in some 6 months, like a guaranteed 6 months. Like if we gave you, 1.5 or 2 for the first 6 months, just to kind of get you going, because there's going to be a lot of upfront costs, obviously, that we would like to help you cover, and then kind of reassess after the first 6 months, depending on how things are going.
But like, what do you mean by real? Because like we like 2.8 would be okay on your if it's a 1 year contract, but like if it's break in the middle of the 6 months, then. It might be not that profitable for us. So
Okay.
So we are willing to do it if it's on a 1 year basis.
Okay.
For the 2.8 million.
So you really want the 1 year deal? That's important to you.
That's kind of right.
Okay. All right. Well, let's plan. Excuse me. Let's plan on. We'll plan on 1 year at 2.8 with no market share incentives.
Okay, so.
And then we'll work, but I'd still like, within the kind of concessions of the contract, I would still like to put some goals in for market share and kind of agree on how we're going to reach them together. And then maybe the second year we can do some incentive-based percentages on a variable basis.
Deal.
Deal.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, 26 minutes.